prestigious elite liberal arts school that was small, because in the United States, if you're really smart and you really care about your education, that's kind of the way you do it. I applied to a bunch of schools in the States. I had like a really competitive application as well, because for most of my high school degree, that's what you need to be. You need to be like a holistic student to get into those schools. So like super high marks, lots of advanced placement courses, but also really involved with volunteerism. I was like the vice president of my entire school. I worked with lobbying the government. Like I did a ton of stuff in high school with the expectation that I was going to go to one of those really prestigious schools, and that was my plan. I didn't know what I wanted to do though, but I knew I wanted to do liberal arts. I had a really like influential teacher who kind of said, you'd be really good at this. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna give that a shot. And then my senior year was just the worst year of my life ever. Just a lot of bad things happened, and I basically kind of gave up. I sent in my applications because like I still had like, that was before things really went down the gutter, but there was just like a load of things that happened, and my mental health just took a nosedive, and I just was like, oh well, none of this matters. I don't want to go to university very much. So I ended up applying to STU later, like right before the deadline, because I had gotten all my acceptances back from the other schools, and my mom had been like, we can't afford this, and we're especially not going to put so much. We're not going to put like $250,000 into a liberal arts degree, like where you're going to have to go do, and that was really difficult for me because I was like, no, this is my dream, and I just didn't care much about anything. So like STU is really good at reaching out to students on an individual level to sort of like recruit them in, and I loved the campus, and the price was right for STU, and so it was kind of like this economical decision I had to make. And there's such a like culture in the United States about, oh, you need to go to the who's who of universities, especially if you're undergraduate. People really care that you're going to a name brand. And then people would ask me like, oh, where are you going? And I would be like, St. Thomas University. And they're like, I've never heard of that before. In my second year, did moot court, really loved it. Like found like this, I'm so passionate about it. It's funny because it makes, and on one hand I feel like a bad person when I'm doing it, because you're always making arguments that you might not believe, and you have to make them so convincingly, and other people are like, wow, you're right, and in your head I'm like, I'm not right, this feels slimy, that kind of thing. But on the other hand, it's such a helpful thing as a person, and for me it's really guided what I want to do with my life, which now I know is law. And from that I met a couple girls, and we were all kind of interested in international law. So then we spent 6 months in a room every Friday writing this international law brief that was never we were going to apply for the international moot court. And I was like, we're not even going to get it, but it's worth a shot, and this will be fun. So we formed like a little international law society at STU, and we applied, and then in May we got the news back that we were one of the top 5 briefs in the world, or 25 in the world and 5 in our region. And I was like, oh my god, STU and I have this mutual relationship. So like I come here, STU gives me great opportunities, and I also get to help STU out.